Hey guys, it's Leesh, and welcome to another episode of Car Confessions. Ooh, guys, listen, on my way home from work, and I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure wherever you are, or maybe not. It might not have snowed. Actually, it might not have snowed here in New York City. I'll say at least here, and in other parts of the country, we had a lot of snowfall. Um, and here's the thing: like here in New York, we didn't get as much snow as it was anticipated. But still, and yet we got a decent amount of snow, which has caused, a lot of issues with, how we navigate this city. I will say for most people that live here, especially if you have a car, the parking here right now is like the wild, wild west. And I say that because, I mean, literally, normally we have what's called alternate side parking here. And alternate side parking is basically what it sounds like. So on certain days, sanitation comes and cleans a certain side of the street. Obviously, with all the snow everywhere, they're not able to do that. And it seems like the rest of the week, they're off with that. So the way folks are parking now is like comical. It's kind of like wherever you get in, fit in where you get in where you fit in. That's the slogan. So that's pretty much how we're operating here with the parking of cars and just vehicles in general. Today, when I went to work, the way my car was parked, people would think I was crazy. And like where I'm from in Indiana, like there's um, parking lots. You have a garage. I mean, you can park on the streets too, but a lot of people have like a driveway, or, like I said, garage, like things of that nature. Here, some people have those things. Very few people have those things. Let me just say that. And for those that do have it, I mean, that's major. It's a major treat. But for people like me who refuse to pay for parking because I'm like, what? I'm not doing that. And plus, where I live, to be fair, where I live, I can get parking. It's not like it's an issue. But right now, with all this snow, y'all, yikes! Like the parking. Yesterday, I had to park basically 2 streets over, and when I finally found parking, I was like trekking through all this snow. I felt like I was like in some type of like Alaskan, like, even I'm being dramatic, but that's how I felt because I didn't have on the proper shoes. I just ordered me some snow boots because I gave my other snow boots to my daughter. I don't know where because I know she doesn't have them with her because she's in college. She's in Atlanta and there's no snow in Atlanta. But in her room, I just couldn't find them. And I wasn't trying to continue on looking because whatever. So I just ordered me some new snow boots because initially I thought, oh, I'll just use the shoes that I gave Mimi and then we'll go from there. But yeah, that didn't happen. So here we are. I'm here. Luckily, I have shoes that have, pretty good traction and they're heavy and equipped for weather like this. It's just I don't have like the boot. So it's like a regular like shoe. So yeah, all that to say, just dealing with the dealings here in New York City with snow is, I think it's so much different than any other place on the planet. That's just my opinion. Um, because I mean, if you've been in New York, you know how this place operates. Like it's all over the place and then some. But if you love New York, you love New York. I mean, I think the majority of us have a love-hate relationship with this place because there's so many amazing things about this city, right? And then there's so many things that's just like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, how is this even legal? But that's the beauty of New York. There's just so many things, so many characteristics that make up a city. Um, like this city has personality like I've never experienced um, anywhere else. And I know that's one of the things that keeps me here is the personality and the character of the city. It is just wild. And sometimes you just never know what's going to happen. So, if anything, this place keeps you on your toes for sure. Guys, it's Wednesday. It's January 28th. Can you believe it, guys? January 28th. And here's the thing, normally January for me feels like forever. Like, I feel like it just never ends. And I would say this January has been more like a mixture of that. Like, it felt like it would never end, and at the same time, I'm like, how are we already 28 days in? Like, what? Like, how did that happen? It's wild to me, but here we are. Here we are at the end of January, um, preparing for another crazy cold month here in the city, of February. And here's the thing, like in New York, normally the weather doesn't kind of like chill out and you feel like, oh, I don't need a jacket until like May, even June. Like, depends on the year. Like, I remember, I don't know what year it was, but maybe like 2 years, 2 or 3 years ago, I think. I don't know. But the point of it is, I was still wearing a jacket. Like, nothing like this, nothing like this thick coat. Like, if you see me on YouTube, you can see I've got my winter jacket on, but nothing this heavy. But I still had to wear like a jacket in June. Like, it was crazy. Um, and that's just kind of like the nature of New York. And then, like, out of nowhere, boom, it's smoldering here. Like, you're like, okay, I went from wearing a jacket to like about to like throw all my clothes off because it's so freaking hot in the city. It's nuts. But like I said, that's how the city operates. It really is. It really, really is. Guys, hoping you're doing well. I'm hoping you're doing well. As I said, I'm going home. I am trudging slowly through this traffic, you know, doing the best that I can. And just trying to wrap my head around what's going on in this country, you know? And I know many of you all are in the same boat when it comes to that. Um, I am I'm an optimist and a realist at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, I understand our current situation is what it is, right? Like, Trump is nuts, the people around him are nuts and cruel and demonic and whatever else you want to call them. Um, and then the people who are like uh, enabling and even supporting this stuff is like, yo, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just, and the thing is, I think at this point too, guys, it's like there's no more arguing with people about anything as it relates to um, this political mess we're in. Because here's the thing, even if it were something where we would think, right, that folks would, their minds would change or whatever, um, it's not us. Like, we can't do that. Like, I can't change anybody's mind. Um, they have to do that themselves. Like, you have to be, and there can be some things that lead up to you changing your mind, right? Some people can like nudge you with something, and it kind of gives you like you can do a little head tilt. You know how dogs do that, like, I mean, you can be in that position, but then that's you doing that, and you making the conscious effort to critically think beyond what you have been told all your life or what you've been thinking and believing. Um, but it starts with the individual making changes. Uh, I'm not here. Like, this is my thing. I'm not here to argue with people about how I think and feel. And it's crazy because there's been like some things going on where, I've shared with folks, like, I didn't vote. I voted third party um, during the election. And some people are like, oh my gosh, what you did was a vote for Trump and blah, 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 blah. And like I've shared with several people as it relates to that is, if we are living in a democracy and we are free to do the things that are, you know, supposed to be centered around democracy, my voting choices should follow suit with that, correct? Being provided two candidates that, in my opinion, have been just generated by the system, and it was so blatant. That's another thing. This actual election, it was so blatant how the candidates were selected. And the thing is, like, if you missed that, it's like, guys, it's so obvious how this operates. This is not something where we, the people, are truly having a fair hand in this situation. And I'm not saying every election was like that in America, but for me, for this particular election, for me, I just want to preface that for me, for Alicia Christian Leesh, for me, it seemed way too um, calculated. It seemed scripted, and I was like, guys, come on. And I get it. You want to be. All right, guys, we got disconnected there. Um, that's the beauty of car compression. Sometimes you're in and sometimes you're out. But like I was saying, guys, like this whole two-party system, at least to me, is just doesn't make sense. And I feel like at this point in life, we should have more options, and we need to be a bit more involved with government. Because I feel like in many ways, a lot of us are kind of like hands off. It's almost like this thing of like, okay, we did our voting. Now go let all that go away and let me just continue to live my American life. Blah, blah, you know what I'm saying? And not really looking at what and how government works. Like, how is this even, an operational entity? Like, and what does it do? What is it doing for me? Because I pay for it. I pay for government. I pay into this system. So, and that's nothing too. Is like I feel like in many ways this system has been so strategic in how it has allowed us to. I should say allowed, but yeah, maybe allowed is a good word for it. But I think it's been very strategic in the way of how it's allowed us to be so hands off. And I feel like that's by design. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like the less involved we are on a daily basis with government, the least likelihood of us really taking the time to investigate during midterms, during the election cycle, when these folks are campaigning, all that. It's like whatever's being thrown at us, whatever looks cute, whatever is shiny and presents like it's going to be the thing, we go for it. We go for it. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the nature of the beast here in this country. And I'm not saying everyone is like this. Obviously, there are people who take the time to look beyond what is being presented to us as, okay, here's the platter for America for this year. These are the people on the platter. You can only choose from this platter. If you go beyond the platter, then you're screwed, right? Or you're ostracized. Or, whatever, right? By your community, by your friends, by your family, whatever that looks like. When you think of it in that way, or at least when I think of it in that way, it takes away any sense of freedom, any sense of me having agency over how this operates. Does that make sense? And my thing is like, I'm not here to, create, divisiveness. Like, I want to see people come together. Like I am that person. I want to remove this ideology around it's us, it's blue versus red, it's black versus white. All these different ways of like completely creating modes of hatred and keeping us divided. In my opinion, all this is by design. Because the time, though, and so many people have been saying this, and we can say it till we're blue in the face, but it's like I said initially, no one can change how people think and feel. No one can do that. It requires people to do that on their own. And how that works is just as that. People have to make these decisions on their own. And it sucks because, you can share as much information as you can. You can learn as much information. You can be open, right? Because that's my thing too. It's like I want to learn more about certain things, and I will say when I'm wrong about. Because my thing is like I'm not here to be like, oh, my decision. My choice is the only way, or what I decided, or how I think it feels the only way. And if you don't go that route, then done, right? And that's not me. Like I want to learn. I want to be open. I want to challenge things in this country when it comes to the different politicians, when it comes to any type of leader. Question them. Don't just go in blindly and just be like, well, they seem good to me. They're quote unquote talking my language, and that's fine. But talking language versus really what you're going to implement is so different. And yes, we can sit here and argue. Okay, there's only so much that a politician can do, right? And that they run on these slogans and they run on certain things to get elected. And to that, I say you're right. I don't question that at all. But the things that they say and the things that we don't really pick up on or we just don't want to admit to, that's where we get into the danger zone, right? Because it's a thing of like our ego, right, gets in the way sometimes of progression. A lot of times that's kind of like what it all boils down to in many ways is us setting aside our egos, setting aside, whatever crazy ideologies we believe for so long, whether it be racist ideologies, religious ideologies that are toxic. Because I'm not going to sit here and say all religious ideologies are toxic. I don't believe in religion. But for me to sit here and be like, oh, it's all whatever, no, for certain people it works for them. And I'm not here to bash anyone in that way, but there are certain things that continue to bring division, and that's where we really need to focus. Like, why does this belief or why does this whatever create so much division? And I think that's a really good place for a lot of us to start. It's like, why does that one thing create so much division? And when we start picking that apart, right, that requires us to lay down that ego too. Why does this, whatever, right? Why does this isolate so many people? Why does this create a sense of marginalization for folks that, are just trying to live their lives? What is that doing for the greater good of this country, the people? What is that doing? And if we can't find anything good in that, that's something to really question, right? If we can't find how it's going to benefit the greater good, the greater community, we have to really think about if we should continue on with that. The country has a lot of work to do, and we all have a lot of work to do. It's not just, oh, these certain people have got it all figured out, and now you got to, no. Everybody in this country, regardless of where you stand with any beliefs, if you're a human, you have work to do, right? And everybody's work may look a little different, but it's still work, especially if we're trying to create a better world, right? And I'll say this for me, from the way I have seen America through my eyes, through Leesh's eyes, I feel like Americans, especially Americans who have maybe never left their state, maybe even left this country, even hell, their city, let's be serious, would do you some good to get out of those places and spaces and actually see how other people live, see how other people operate, and know that, oh, these people are just living their lives. They're just doing the best that they can, like anyone else. They want the best for their families, for their friends, whatever that looks like. And know that we're just all trying, well, I hope we're all trying to do the best we can, right? It's just something to consider and think about, my friends. Definitely something to consider and think about as we trek along on this human journey. Because there's so much more beyond us being quote unquote American or being whatever, right? Being Democrat, being Republican. We're a part of this human race. We are humans living a human experience. And like I said, it goes beyond what we have been conditioned to think and feel. Y'all, if y'all can see me right now, this is total side note. Me trying to park this car right now. Can you hear that? That's snow. That's me piling on snow, trying to park. Yep. Yeah, like I said, guys, this whole parking situation here in New York right now is literally you do the best you can, and that's all you can do. Literally, that is all you can do. I think this friend thinks I'm leaving. I'm not. Oh no, they're gonna take the challenge of parking in the snow over there. All right, I think I did it, guys. I think I did it, guys. Whew, guys. I'm home. I'm praying this parking spot it'll be what it's gonna be. I mean, that's all I can hope for, and I think it's how I have to kind of like even approach this whole idea of living in America right now. I've got to do the best I can. Hopefully, it'll turn out all right. I'm hoping tomorrow when I get out here to my car, it'll be okay. Fingers crossed. And I just pray that people on the road will be kind to my car as they see it, as they drive by. I hope to do the same for people. I'll be kind to them as they just interact with me and vice versa. Yeah, guys. Oh, we got a lot going on, but in the midst of it all, I know things will get better. They have to. Everything's a season, and we can't determine the time of our season. We just have to go through it. And so we're going through it. And I just pray that we go through it with kindness, with love, with compassion. Take no shit, but yeah, we're doing the best we can, guys. That's it. We're doing the best we can, and that's all I got today. All right, guys, I'm gonna go upstairs, get my life together, whatever that means these days. Yeah, wishing you guys all the best. And like I always say, let's just keep on keeping on, and I will see y'all next week. All right, bye.